Hello and welcome to Walker Tea Review. I'm Jason Walker here with an oolong tea from Taiwan. Tell a little bit more about that in just a minute. I'm going to scoop out enough here to cover the bottom inch and a half diameter of my 3-ounce gaiwan. That looks good. This is a ball, tightly rolled oolong, like a kind of like little tiny, like small crumpled paper wads. My water's been brought to an early boil, starting to rumble. Been cooling there as it sat for a minute or two. Now I want to have enough water to kind of swirl around, make sure all those leaves get tucked underneath the surface of the water, any dry elements. One thing that's kind of nice to watch with some teas, especially like this oolong tea, that, like I said, they're tightly wound, and that heat, that warm water is already starting to kind of loosen and open those leaves up. So that's nice to kind of just sit and watch. I'm going to add just a splash of water because I want a little bit to rest above the rim of my lid, kind of, keep the air out of it so it doesn't change the color of the liquor as it sits there. That's good. It's also making my lid float a little bit, but that's fine. Introducing this tea. This is from EcoCha. This is their Shan Unroasted, is how it's described. You can get 75 grams for $32 currently. This is a winter 2013 harvest. That's a fairly recent harvest. You can find a lot of this product information on the package itself and on the product page as well. This one, so for example, it tells you, actually, that's an incorrect. I wrote winter, but here on the package, I noticed that it says, for example, spring 2013. That unroasted, there's a scale, roasting scale, and it's over here on the far left, where in the roasted section, where it would be actually, the print says that it is unroasted. So if you ever see, sometimes you'd want to look on your packaging, on your product page to find out the information and see that it's consistent, make sure that everything's been updated. So, talking about this tea, I'm going to look at the dry leaf, the wet leaf, and the liquor, starting off here with the dry, of course. Let me kind of shake that up, breathe on a little bit, awaken those leaves. So you get some, first off, I get a fairly kind of woody floral element. It's English laurel. It's little white flowers, buds that often I associate with some of your shrub type bushes. Breathing on it, putting some heat to it, give a bit of a light, almost a light toasty graham cracker kind of smell. So again, honeyed, sweet floral with a little bit of woody, a little bit of, like I said, a very lightly toast element there. Scooping out these leaves to look at them more closely, you can see that they are tightly wound or wrapped or balled. You see some that are a bit larger pieces, like this one. Looks to be going to be 2 leaves or so there. Some smaller pieces here and there look to be like individual leaves, maybe portions of individual leaves. Color-wise, a deeper green-blue color over towards still a rich green-yellow type of color. So again, this indicates that the low oxidation, low roasting taking place. So that's why you get these brighter, deeper green, green-blue, green-yellow type colors here. Okay, so returning that to the package, I'm going to go now and get to my wet leaf and the liquor. So I'm going to angle my lid over to the side. Middle finger and thumb are the main points for holding the bowl here. Index finger holds the lid in place. I want to open that up just a little bit more so I get a smoother, faster pour. Just like so. Shake out a few of those last drops. Looks good. Okay, getting now to the wet leaf here. Let me see that shake and smell. Nice, sweet. Again, something graham cracker kind of smell about this. There's a bit of a buttery note to it too, which is nice, kind of a sweet butter. English laurel, those small white shrub flowers I was telling you about, still coming out too. So overall, sweet, lightly woody, a bit of a, and with a little bit of the graham cracker in there too. So that gives it honeyed sweetness. Nice, rich aromas there. Got a leaf that's stuck to the lid, so I'm going to leave that there. I'm going to pick it up, just kind of hold it up. So it's a relatively mature leaf. I don't see a lot. I see maybe a tinge of oxidation along some of these jagged edges of the jagged teeth on the edge of the leaf there. For the most part, still pretty green. Some resiliency. I can start to see some little cracks in the leaf, and if I pull, it looks like this leaf would tear open. Noticing also some of those those larger paper wad size, those bald oolong I was talking about. Here I've got one leaf, two. These have unfurled fairly. I can easily tease these open. This is a very more delicate leaf. The tug on that would kind of tear that one fairly supple. This one feels a bit soft, smooth compared to some of these thicker leaves that I have here. Here's another fairly large leaf. Some jaggedness along some of the edges where a ragged element there took place during processing, probably. So that's pretty large. Actually, I should note 2, 3 leaves and a little bud or tip right there. Another leaf starting to form there. So I'm going to set that to, if on here, as best as I can, because these are quite large. These leaves on here, 2 inches, 2.5 easily. Okay, so fitting that on there. Okay. That is representative of what I'm finding for the most part. Again, 2, 3, 2.5, remainder of a leaf there on that one. 2, 3 leaves there, a bud there, bud for both of these. So that's what I'm getting. Here's one that, well, the leaves kind of must have gotten rubbed off or processed off in some way. But that's what I'm getting. Lots of 2, 3 leaves and a bud element there. Putting this back on top, getting over to the liquor now. Give that a swirl. Hold that up to the light. A bright yellow, almost a green yellow type color. So it's got a nice richness there. And give that a pour. There's a smell here. The English laurel smell is still probably the most dominant. A bit of a sweet butter kind of, sweet cream, mascarpone type smell going there underneath that. Let me give this a sip. So you got the sweet fragrance, the honey type graham cracker, the English laurel elements combining here. I'd say the English laurel is probably the dominant. The texture with the minerals and the elements in this gives it almost a salty type of feel. So it's got a kind of a sweet, salty, almost buttery type texture here. Aftertaste, this gummy, sticky, buttery element in the back half, near the back of my jaw there, back of the gum line, back of the gums there. Sticky, creamy almost, just nice and heavy sitting back there. producing this heaviness combined with a cool, kind of a cool, sweetness. Again, still that kind of English laurel, a little bit of that graham cracker type of honeyed sweetness on the front of the tongue. So there's a lot going on front to back, and they're interacting quite well. Gives a nice mouth watery element feel to this. Still lingering. It's dropped off some, but still for a fairly extended aftertaste there. I'm waiting for this to kind of cool, because oftentimes as these teas cool, things get a little bit, it can even get a little bit more complex, a little bit richer. Texture overall just really picked up there on that sip. So even from the get-go, it's a thicker chicken broth, not quite so salty, not quite so savory, but still just thick and heavy. A nice, rewarding experience. And it's sitting on the tongue. It's nice and heavy. My tongue actually feels kind of weighted down with the brothy feel here. Looking at this tea, this is the kind of tea that's very interesting and quite rewarding. It's not just a pop of flavor that gives you nothing else to experience or enjoy or to talk about. This has got the aromatics, the character, the feel on the tongue, the brothiness, the aftertaste, the weight that sits in the back of your mouth that feels like it's very kind of almost savory in its elements. So looking at this tea, I would give this one, I'm enjoying this tea, but I want to be fair. So I'm going to give this tea a 92. Just compared to other Shan that I've come across, one of the more intense that I've experienced. So come back to Walker Tea Review to find those teas that are intensely rewarding.